What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at installing the new May 2021 update of Windows 10, that is Windows 10 21H1, onto a bootable USB so that you can use this for installing onto your blank PC build. This video is not for installing Windows onto your Mac via Boot Camp. If you want to see a video on that, go check out this video up here. Or if you have any other questions about installing onto Boot Camp or installing onto a blank PC or a Windows laptop, drop them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer those for you either in the comments or in a future video. Let's jump straight into it. First, there are a couple of things we're going to need. We are going to need a Mac device. So for this particular example, I am using a 2013 Intel-based MacBook Pro. This is the late 2013 model. This one you actually can run Boot Camp on, and mine currently has a Boot Camp partition installed on it. But again, if you have any questions regarding Boot Camp, drop them in the comments and I'll answer those in future videos for you. And then the second thing we're going to need is a bootable USB. By this, all I mean is a USB thumb drive with at least 8 GB of storage capacity. 8 GB because the Windows 10 ISO that we're going to download is around 5 to 6 GB, so 8 GB is just enough for what we need to install. Now we're going to insert this into the Mac and it will pop up on your desktop. Mine is just named shareable at the moment. The next thing I'm going to do is open Disk Utility. You can see at the top left here, we have my various partitions, one of which is the Boot Camp. And then below we have our external shareable USB. This is currently blank as an exFAT drive because I use it between Windows and Mac quite often for large files. But right now we're just going to format this as MS-DOS. Because for this particular process, we're going to be using the MS-DOS format on this drive to install onto our custom built PC. You can do this with exFAT, and I do have a video on doing this up here, but it seems to be that only a small amount of people have success with that, whereas MS-DOS has a much wider success rate. I'm just going to name this bootable. With that drive now formatted, we can quit Disk Utility. I'm going to open Safari and go to Windows 10 ISO download. This will bring up the top result, which is Microsoft.com Windows 10 disk image. At the top, you will see a little warning saying you've been routed to this page because the operating system you're using won't support Windows 10 media creation tool. That is because we are running a Mac device. But then below we have a little note just saying you can use this page to download disk image ISO file that can be used to install or reinstall Windows 10. The image can also be used to create installation media using a USB flash drive or DVD. For us, we are creating a bootable drive, so we're going to go down and select Windows 10 May 2021 update. Hit confirm. Here, choose your language. Here, this is important to make a note of because this will affect some of the notes that will follow, which you can find in the description below. This will affect some of the commands. Then 64-bit download, that will start downloading. The download can take a few minutes. This reckons it's going to take about 10 minutes. I'm just going to cancel this because I already have it downloaded. I'm now going to close Safari. For the remainder of this video, we are now going to be using macOS Terminal. I've just brought up the commands that you will see in the description of this video. I've got them in this little text edit window up on my screen just so you can sort of see which one I'm going to be using at the same time as you. And then we'll open up Terminal. So we have already manually formatted our drive using Disk Utility, but we are going to just sort of go through the terminal process of this just to make sure everything is in order. So first we're going to enter command 1 diskutil list. This will bring up our disk utility but in the terminal format. This might look a little bit complicated to you if you haven't really looked at terminal before, but trust me, it's just a couple of little things to make a note of. So down at the bottom we have got our DOS FAT32 bootable, and we can see that this is disk 2. When we copy over the next command, you will have diskutil eraseDisk MS-DOS Windows 10 MBR diskN. Replace that N with whichever disk number your bootable USB lines up with. So I'm just going to change mine to disk 2. I'm going to copy that over, hit paste, enter. This is now creating the formatted drive that we need. That is done. You can see on my desktop that bootable drive has now just been turned into the Windows 10 formatted drive, so we know that's just worked. The next thing we're going to do is install all of the Windows 10 ISO apart from the large file that prevents us from installing all at once. Just to demonstrate this to you, we have the Windows 10 ISO that I've downloaded already. When we double click this, it will open in a source window. We go into the sources folder, and down here we have our install.wim. That install.wim file is currently 4.92 gigabytes for the May 2021 Windows update, and that file is what prevents us from copying over plain and simple using the MS-DOS format. But that's not a problem because the next few steps are going to solve that for us. So this is all now open. We can close these Finder windows, and we're going to copy over step number 3. Before we copy over this instruction, you will need to rename the volume that you have opened. So you might get this error, which I just got because I briefly mentioned before to make a note of the language that you download, and here I have just run into the error that you might have just faced. So we have our rsync progress exclude sources install.wim volumes, and then FRE_EN_US, that is English US. I can see that my volume is actually EN_GB. So I'm just going to change mine to GB. I actually changed it to a Great Britain UK English language, the OG. So say if yours was French, it might be FR, or if it was Spanish, it might be ES or something like that. So I'm just going to copy this over now. And now that is working. So be sure to double check the file name of that. Each time I've done this, I've sort of used the American English file just because it's the one I always used. Today I went with the Great Britain, and that's the first time I've actually had this problem happen to me, but I have helped people in the comments with it before. So this is now just copying over all of the source information apart from the larger file, and that is now all copied over. Now, the next thing we're going to do is install Homebrew. What is Homebrew? Homebrew is an application that can run within macOS terminal. We can then use this to make other system adjustments by downloading other apps such as Wim Lib, which we're going to be using today. What you can see here might be what you see in the YouTube description. The GitHub user content Homebrew link has been shortened because of the YouTube description. So you might try and copy this, and then this is going to happen. Returned error 400. Let us instead open Safari and go to Homebrew. Just search Homebrew. brew.sh Homebrew. Then here we go. You can see install Homebrew. There's this link here. Click on the little clipboard and that will copy it to our clipboard. Close Safari. And then now it is asking us for our user password. That is just the password that you use to log in. If you are not the administrator account, try both your user password and the administrator password, just to be safe. When you enter the password, no characters will show up. Just type it in correctly, hit enter, and then we will get a list of what is about to happen, what Homebrew is about to do, then hit enter again to agree, and then now it is installing Homebrew for us. This will take a couple of minutes. Quick little update, if your Homebrew is taking a while, don't worry. This is the longest mine has taken for a while. It's taking like a few minutes now. And also the Intel Mac, being the Intel Mac, is getting hot and it's making noise. Yeah. Don't worry though, it'll be fine. Just wait a little bit, be patient. Okay, receiving objects. The really good thing about Homebrew is once you've got it installed, it's very little work to upkeep. You can update it if you do need to, if they roll out any major updates, but you'll normally only find out if suddenly it's not working. Besides that, there's no real need to update it often, so don't worry too much. Homebrew is now successfully installed for me. That did take, I don't know, over 5 minutes, a little bit long. The next step is going to be number 5, and that is Brew Install Wim Lib. You can just type this in or copy it to be safe. This is now going to install Wim Lib, which is an in-terminal application like Homebrew, and this is going to enable us to split our larger install.wim file into 2 files that can still work together when we install onto a blank Windows machine. That is much quicker. That is all done for us now. And then with that now done, we can go on to our last step. Step 6 might take a while. In previous videos I've done on this, people are always concerned that it's not going to finish. It will finish. It just might take some time. So copy over step 6. Make sure, similar to step 3 where I renamed my ENUS to ENGB, do that as again for your language settings, and then we're going to copy over that entire command once more. Hit enter and go. So you can see here it is now splitting the entire volume, and it's going to do part 1 of 2. The reason why it's doing that is because it is splitting it into 2 parts, so we're going to be able to see the percentage go up. We're already 1/5 of the way there, but it does tend to happen quickly at first, and it slows down for a little while towards the end while it's splitting up the 2 files. I am going to leave my camera and screen record running. I'm just hoping for me it's not like super long this time. Now with step 6 complete, that might have taken a little while for you. It took a kind of a long time for me. That is everything done. That is your bootable USB now created. If we go up to this Windows 10 disk image, I can look at this, and this has everything in. Go into sources, and when we go to install.wim, we will see, so at the top here we have install.swm. that is the Wim now split. So we can see install.swm and then install2.swm. One is 4.19 gig and the other is 687 megabytes. That is it now split. This will now work when installing onto your blank PC build. Again, any questions you have about this process or about doing it slightly differently, say with an old laptop or a laptop build that you've done, or even trying to install onto Boot Camp, drop those in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to help you. So I'm just going to hit eject on this, and that is your bootable USB now ready to go. I hope this video has been very helpful for you. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss tech videos like this one, and I will see you in the next one.